Hello everyone, welcome to another video from my channel. In this video, I will be revising with you using end of term exam. We will be solving together the end of term 1 exam of academic year 2018-2019. So let's start by the multiple choice questions at the beginning. Solve the system of equations, and he's giving you 4 choices. So at the beginning, you have to look at the system, which the easier way to solve it. Clearly, you are having y with coefficient of +2 minus 2. So you will be solving it by elimination method. So let's do it using elimination. You are having different signs, that means you must add. And when you add x plus 3x, you are getting 4x is equal to minus 6 plus 22, you will be getting 16. Then solve this equation for x divided by 4, 16 divided by 4, your x will be 4. Then substitute 4 minus 2y equal minus 6. Solve this equation, get y, your answer of y will be 5, and your choice will be B. Always put your answer as x and y. So it will be 4 and 5. So this was the first question. Let's see the second question, the second multiple choice. So whenever he will be giving you a question like which system of inequality is graphed, first of all, you will be starting to cancel the thing which is impossible to have. Here you are having one solid line and one dashed line. So first of all, that means one of the inequalities will be having equal, the other one will not have an equal. That means let's look at A. Both of them will be having equal. So we will eliminate option A. Now look at option D. Both of them doesn't have equal. That means both of the lines should be dashed. But here we are having one solid, one dashed. So cancel option D. Now we are only left with option B and C. So you have to know that the solid line should be having a slope of positive. The dashed line should be having a slope of negative value. And both of them will be having a y-intercept of 0 and -5. So let's now check B and C. So option B, let's keep y alone. So at the first, you will be having y bigger than -5 minus 2x. Move it to the other side. Then the other one, you will move 3x, then you will be dividing by -2, so the sign of the inequality will be changing. So y less than or equal 9 over -2 plus 3 over 2x. That means your dashed line will be having the slope of minus value or negative value and 0 and -5. And the positive slope will go to the solid line. So this will be satisfying what is in the graph. So here you are having m as -2, b as 0 and -5. Now let's look at the other one. So here the y-intercept will be a bit higher. So it will be 0 and -4.5. And this is for the solid. So let's focus on the y-intercept. So m here will be 3/2, which is positive value. B here will be 0 and -4.5. So this is highly satisfying our question. So your answer will be B. And now let's check C at the end. So if you moved everything, you will be having C as M with two, which is positive value. Then here you will be having a negative slope, which is the opposite, -3/2, which is not satisfying what we need. So the answer is B. So whenever you are having such a question, check the type of the line, whether it is solid or it is dashed. Other than this, you have to check the slope, the y-intercept. If all of this were the same between B and C, then you have to check the shaded region. So just learn always to have a criteria while you are checking this question. Let's now go to the other question. What is the value of? So whenever he is giving you such a question, we know that he means to find the determinant. And when he wants you to find the determinant of 2/2, an easy way would be use the arrows. Multiply this one, this diagonal by this, 3/4. Then subtract. Then go to the other diagonal. Multiply them by each other. Which will be equal to 14. And this will be your answer of D. Now, he's asking you, what is the equation of the axis of symmetry? So we know that the axis of symmetry is having the equation of x is equal -b/2a. Also, we know that the axis of symmetry is the same as the x value of your vertex. Let me just write it again from the beginning. So your x value of the vertex of the quadratic function. Now, what he gave you? He gave you a quadratic function, but in the vertex form directly. So we already know that the vertex form will be giving you the vertex in h and k. So your h value here is 2. and your K value here is 3. That means we will summarize this question by saying that whenever you are given a vertex form, your H value is the same as the X value of the vertex is the same as the axis of symmetry. So here your X will be equal to 2. Great. Lastly, let's see question 5. Whenever he is asking you find R21 in the matrix R, so he would like you to locate one of the elements. So R21, we have to know what is the meaning of the 2, what is the meaning of the 1. So 2 mean row, 1 column. That means we have to go to the second row and first column. So the place where you are having the intersection between the two colors, then this is your answer, which is 4. Let's go to the other question. Now he's asking you, solve the equation 2x squared minus 5x equal minus 2. Whenever you are having such a question, don't go directly and solve it. First of all, move everything to the other side and keep it equal to 0. So move it to the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equal 0. And you can solve it whether using factorization method or directly. To save time, you can use your calculator to solve it. So 2x squared minus 5x plus 2 equals 0. So here you can specify your A is 2, your B is minus 5, your C is 2. So another third way could be the quadratic formula. So now you are having whether the factorization method, the calculator method, or the quadratic formula. So if you would like to use the calculator method, then you can press mod 5, then 3. And after getting this, you'll be having your answer as A. So please try the factorization, try the quadratic formula, try the calculator method. All of them will be giving you the same answer. X is equal half and X is equal 2. Now, he's asking you which quadratic equation will be having the roots of -1 and 4. Now he gave you the roots already. And he wants you to know what is the quadratic equation that will give you these roots. So whenever you are giving or whenever you are given the roots, just write it in the form x minus x1, x minus x2. And use the FOIL method, and this here will be your f of x. Then FOIL method. So it will be x minus, but you are having -1, so it will be x plus 1. And 4 in the positive, that means x minus 4 directly. So FOIL method, you will be using it. After all this, check your answer. It must be x squared minus 3x minus 4. And it will be your C. And to write it in the quadratic equation, you have to put it in this form. ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. So you have to remove your f of x and equate it to 0. Great. So please revise the FOIL method so you can be able to use. F means you will multiply the first elements by each other. O means the outer surface. You will be multiplying the outer elements. I means the inner elements. Remember the circles. L means the last elements together. The last elements together, which is 1 and minus 4. Now, again, we will be using FOIL method in simplification of the complex binomials. So whenever you are having binomial, you will be using also FOIL method. So let's now apply on this. So if you didn't remember it here, you can just start to remind yourself by it by solving this question. So F means you will be multiplying the first elements by each other. 5 multiplied by 1, it is 5. Plus, now you will be multiplying the outer ones. So 5 multiplied by 3i, it is 15i. Then the inner ones, 2i multiplied by 1, so it will be 2i. Lastly, you will be multiplying the last elements. So 2i multiplied by 3i, you will be having 6i squared. And this is one of the things that you have to pay attention to. I squared will be giving you minus 1. And you need to know this. Now you should simplify and look at the like terms. So here it will be 5. And remember 6 multiplied by minus 1, it will be minus 6 plus 15 plus 2i. So now let's simplify it further. So it will be having minus 1 plus 17i. And which choice is this? D, directly. Now let's go to the simplification. If I would like to simplify, that means I should look at the like terms. So let's look. I'm having here polynomial and another polynomial. So let's look, where do I have like terms? Do I have anything look like 7x cubed? Do I have any other power with 7x cubed? No. So just leave it as it is. Then look at the other term. I'm having here minus 2x squared and x squared. So minus 2 plus 1 will be minus 1 x squared. Then, do you have other than minus x here? No, so just leave it as it is, minus x. Then, lastly, you are having a 3 and minus 5. So 3 minus 5 minus 2. Now, if you would like to remove the plus, it could be 7x cubed minus x squared minus x minus 2. And your answer will be D. Great. Now, let's go to this question. So question 10 and question 11, both of them will be solved whether by long division or synthetic division. So you can choose whatever it is appropriate for you. So let's solve one of them by long division, one of them by synthetic division. So the question is that simplify, and he gave you a polynomial, and he gave you that it is divided by a binomial. So let's try the long division first. So here you will be putting 3x minus 2. After this, check the index form. So 6x cubed, and you are having your square minus 16x squared, and you are having your x to the power 1, so put it as it is, and you are having your constant. So at the beginning, you will be focusing on the first term divided by 3x. So 6x cubed divided by 3x, it will be giving it as 2x squared. Then if you multiply it again now, it will be 6x cubed minus 4x squared. So in my class, I told my students that they can use the method of dad, mom, sister, and brother. What do I mean by each of them? Dad, that means you have to divide 6x cubed by 3x. Mom, that means you need to multiply the term that you got above by each of them. Then S here in the sister means subtract. So whenever you are subtracting here, you will be getting minus 12x squared. Then what is the brother here? It will be bring down. That means bring down here the 11x. Now let's go back to that. Divide now this number by 3x. So whenever you are dividing, you will be getting minus 4x. Now go back to mom, multiply. You will be multiplying minus 4x by 3x. So you will be having minus 12x squared, then minus 4x multiplied by minus 2, it will be plus 8x. Then sisters, subtract. After this, what you need to do is that you will be having 3x. Lastly, brother, bring down. And you will be bringing down minus 2. And now you are having the same term. 3x divided by 3x, it will be 1. So plus 1. And when you use the mom, multiply, it will be the same, 3x minus 2. Lastly, use the sister, subtract, and you will be bringing the 0 down. That means you have no remainder. So your answer of the quotient will be 2x squared minus 4x plus 1, and this will be a choice. Great. So now we did it using the long division way. Let's go to this question. Question 11. He told you one factor of this polynomial is x plus 4. find the two remaining factors. So in this method, you can whether use the long division, and after finding the quotient, you can factorize it, or you can use directly the synthetic division. And now let's focus what is the difference between the long division and synthetic division. So first of all, the synthetic division will be focusing on the factor here. So he gave you that you are having a factor of x plus 4. So you have to equate this factor to 0 and get x alone, so it will be minus 4. Then you will be preparing your lines of the synthetic division, and I'm having a video on the synthetic division, so if you would like, you can watch it and remind yourself by the synthetic division. So I will be putting here minus 4, and let's put now the coefficients of the polynomial. It will be 1, 2, minus 11, and minus 12. Great. Now I will be putting the line, and I will get 1 down. So, minus 4 multiplied by 1 will be giving you minus 4. Now add it, so it will be giving you minus 2. Now multiply by each other, you will be having 8. Add it, you will be having minus 3. Multiply, you will be having a 12. Add it, you'll be having 0, which will prove for you that it is a factor. So here, no remainder means it is a factor. Now, focus on the highest power here. It was x to the power 3, means your question was with n to the power 3. Your answer should be n minus 1. That means 3 minus 1, it is 2. That means your depressed polynomial must be having x squared minus 2x minus 3. And what he would like you to do, so this is your depressed polynomial. So he would like you to factorize this. So whether you can use the calculator, the factorization, or you can use the quadratic formula itself. So after using this, you'll be getting x1 from the calculator as 3, x2 as minus 1. Now focus, how can we write them as factors? X minus x1, x minus x2. That means x minus 3 minus minus means x plus 1. And now if you would like to choose what are the other factors other than x plus 4, that means your choice will be C, x minus 3 and x plus 1. Great. Now let's go to this question. He's telling you identify the x-intercept of the graph of y equal the radical or the square root of 2x plus 1. So whenever he's asking you this question, it's like he's asking you to find the domain so you can know what is your starting of the graph. So take whatever inside the square root and find the point which will be equal to 0. So let's solve this. 2x minus 1 x is equal minus 1 over 2. So your domain in general should be x bigger than or equal minus 1 over 2. So in general, your x-intercept will be minus 1 over 2, which is the choice of C. Now, let's go to question 13. He is asking you to find the inverse, which is having this symbol of 3x plus 8. So let's now follow the steps. First of all, the first step is that you will remove f of x and you will write y equal 3x plus 8. Then you will be switching without changing anything. 3y plus 8. After this, you need to find y. That means x minus 8 is equal to 3y. Now how to leave y alone? X divided by 3 minus 8 divided by 3. Lastly, I will eliminate the y and I will leave the f inverse of x sign. So whenever I'm writing x over 3, that means it is 1 over 3 multiplied by x. So it will be leaving you with the choice of C. Let's go to question 14. Now in question 14, he is asking you to solve x to the power 4 plus 2x minus 24. There are many ways to solve this, and some of you is having their calculators already, but I would like you to revise with me how to use the rational zero to solve such a question. So if you would like to do the rational zero, it will be, look at the zeros of P, look at the Q zeros. And the Q means the leading coefficient, which is 1. So plus or minus 1. That's it. What about P? P means what are the numbers that if I multiply them together, it will be giving you 24. So it will be plus or minus 1, plus or minus 24, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 12, plus or minus 3, plus or minus 8, plus or minus 4, plus or minus 6. Now, lastly, you need to find P over Q, which is the rational zero. And whenever you are dividing the P over Q, it is already divided by 1, so you can write it as it is. Plus or minus 1, plus or minus 24, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 12, plus or minus 3, plus or minus 8, plus or minus 4, plus or minus 6. And you would be starting to substitute in P of x, for example, or f of x, until you are already having your f of x equal to 0, which will prove for you that this is a factor. Okay, so if I would like to substitute, I will be using my f of x to be x to the power 4 plus 2x squared minus 24. And since you are having even power, that means whether you will be substituting with the negative or the positive, you will be getting the same answer. So you can just choose one of them. So I will be choosing f of 1 which will be the same as f of minus 1. After substituting, it will be giving you minus 21, which is not a factor. Now, let's try the smaller than the bigger values. Always get used to do this. If 2, which is the same as f minus 2, as I said, even powers, and this value will be giving you 0. That means x equal to 2 and x equal minus 2, both are factors. So we will be using this information to find the other factors. That means let's cancel from now some of the answers. So we are having 2 and minus 2. That means we will be canceling from now option C and option D. Great. To know the other answers, let's use the synthetic division. Your factor, I will be choosing the 2. So now pay attention to the index form. You are having x to the power 4, so it is 1. Do you have x to the power 3? No, that means it is 0. Then 2. Then do you have x to the power 1? No, that means it is 0. Then lastly, the constant, minus 24. Get it down, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, and add, multiply, and you will be getting 0, which will prove that yes, it is a factor. Now write your depressed polynomial. Your n is equal 4. That means your depressed polynomial is raised to the power of 3. So x cubed plus 2x squared plus 6x plus 12. So here I'm advising you, you can equate it to 0, factorize it, or use your calculator directly, modify 4. So it will be giving you 3 zeros. And here I choose one of them, which is 2. So x2 here will be giving you minus 2. Now x3 will be giving you square root of 6i. x4 will be giving you minus square root of 6i. And some calculators will be having 2.449i. And I advise you, if you are getting some answers like this, just divide or put in your calculator the square root of 6 and check which value. Is it the same value as you got or not? Then let's now check the answers. I'm having 2, minus 2, and I'm having imaginary. That will lead to delete A, because here the 4 are real, but in reality it's not. So here I'm having imaginary. That means your answer is B. Great. There are many ways to solve this question, but I wanted to revise with you the rational, zero, and the synthetic division. Let's see this question. This question will be determining if you are focusing on the properties of the radicals or not. So it is so easy. Whenever you are having a square root, x, a, and here b, that means you can write it as a power of A over B. So let's use this square root of x cubed 5. It will be x 3 over 5. That means if I would like to divide x 3 over 5 over x 3 over 5, same variable, same power, that means it is 1. And your answer will be directly A. Great. Now let's go to the open-ended questions. You are having two matrices and he's asking you to find minus 2b plus 3a. So first of all, you will be putting minus 2 multiplied by matrix B, which is 7, 2, minus 5, minus 1, plus 3 multiplied by 2, 1, 4, and 3. So start multiplying, scalar multiplication, and this scalar multiplication will be giving you minus 14, minus 4, 10, 2. Added to another scalar multiplication, and this is the result, 6, 3, 12, 9. Now, whenever you would like to add, first of all, you have to check whether they are having the same dimension or not. So 2 by 2, and the other dimension is 2 by 2. Excellent. That means same dimension, I can add. Now start adding. Minus 14 plus 6, minus 8. 10 plus 3, 13. Minus 4 multiplied, minus 4 plus 12, 8. 2 plus 9, 11. And that's it. Now, same matrices, but they would like you to multiply. So whenever you would like to multiply two matrices, you have to check the inner dimension. So this dimension is 2 by 2. This dimension is 2 by 2. So check the inner dimension, they are equal. That means your new matrix will be also 2 by 2. Two by 2. Great. So when you would like to perform the multiplication, the easy way is to look at the location of this. So if you looked at this location, that means it is the element which is having a 1, 1. That means look at the first row, first column. And these are the two that I will be using them to be multiplied and added. So 2 multiplied by 7 plus 1 multiplied by 2. 1 multiplied by 2. Then check this location. It will be A. And now which row it is? The second row. Which column it is? The first column. That means you will be going to the second row with the first column. 4 multiplied by 7 added to 3 multiplied by 2. Then check this location. It will be having the first row, the second column. So let's erase all of these. So you have to look at the first row, and the second column now. So it will be 2 multiplied by minus 5 plus 1 multiplied by minus 1. Then check the last one. It is A22. That means you have to go to the second row, second column. So 4 multiplied by minus 5 plus 3 multiplied by minus 1. And after simplification, you will be getting this answer. 16 minus 11, 34 minus 23. Now, he would like you to find A inverse. So now let's know what is the rule of the inverse function. Whenever you are having 2 by 2, 1 over determinant of A multiplied by the adjoint of A. So let's first of all find the determinant of A. So if you would like to find the determinant of A, that means 2, 1, 4, 3. Let's find the determinant of this. 2 multiplied by 3, 6, minus 4 multiplied by 1, 4. So it will be 2. Then, what do I mean by adjoint of A? That means your matrix now will be changing for each diagonal. So in this diagonal, your values will be switched. 2 and 3, now switch them. 3 and 2. And in the other diagonal, what will happen? The sign will be changed. If they were positive, it will be negative. If they were negative, it will be positive. So, minus 1, minus 4. Lastly, to find now A inverse, that means you should multiply the adjoint by 1 over the determinant. So 1 over 2 multiplied by your adjoint. 3 minus 1 minus 4 and 2. And now you are having a scalar multiplication. And the scalar multiplication will be giving you 3 over 2, which is 1.5, minus half, minus 2, and 1. It is just a scalar multiplication. Great. Now, let's go to question 19. Determine whether the function f of x minus 5x squared plus 4x minus 8 has a maximum or minimum value or none. Find that value, state the domain and the range. Great. So whenever he's asking you such a question, first of all, this is a quadratic function. So to find the maximum and the minimum, first of all, you should check the A value. So here, your A value is negative value. Minus 5 is less than 0. That means it is negative value. So we know that whenever the A is negative, your curve or your quadratic function will be opening downward. So this is when A is less than 0. So when it opens down, that means you are having a maximum value at the vertex. Maximum value at the vertex. So now we determine that it is maximum value and where it should be at the vertex. So now how can we find the value? Let's find the vertex. The easiest way is that you go to the axis of symmetry. X is equal minus b over 2a. So let's determine together. A here is equal minus 5, b is equal 4, and c is equal minus 8. Now let's substitute. Minus 4, 2 multiplied by minus 5. That means your x is 2 over 5. And substitute by 2 over 5, you will be having minus 36 over 5. That means your vertex is 2 over 5 and minus 36 over 5. And always, whenever you would like to find the max or the minimum, it will be your y value. So this is the maximum value. Now, let's focus on how can we find the domain. So this was a sketch for the quadratic function that I can imagine. So always make a small sketch for you to imagine what will be your solution. So your domain, as you can see, it will be taking all your x values, the real ones. Now, your range. To find the range, always focus at the vertex, where the graph started and where did it end. That means your range will be all the values which are less than your maximum value. So you can write your range in both ways, whether minus infinity, minus 36 over 5, closed, or another way to write it is that y such that y must be less than or equal minus 36 over 5. And that's it. Now, he would like you to solve this question using quadratic formula, and this will be helping you to remind yourself by the formula of the quadratic formula itself. So first of all, I should change this to ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. And your quadratic formula will be x1, 2, because it will be giving you two values, minus b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So I advise you first to get your b squared minus 4ac. It will be telling you about how your zeros will be like, and it is called the discriminant. So find b squared minus 4AC, substitute, so it will be minus 4 squared minus 4, and what is your A? 1. What is your C? After moving it will be 13. Great. So your value will be minus 36. With this, you have to know when it is minus, that means your answer will be having two complex roots, and you are not having any real roots, no reals. And all of this, we know it from the discriminant. Great. That means, please, all of you, change your calculator to the complex calculator. Your x1 will be taking whether the positive or the negative. So minus b, so you are having minus 4 already. So it will be minus minus, that means it will be plus 4 plus this value, minus 36 over 2. And the other value will be 4 minus square root of minus 36 over 2. Whether you solve it using the calculator on the complex, or you can directly factorize this and get square root of minus 1 multiplied by square root of 36. This will be I, and this will be 6. Okay, so if you would like to modify it, it will be 6i, and then you can solve directly, whether you're using your calculator or as I just demonstrated. So your final answer of the first one will be 2 plus 3i. Your other answer will be 2 minus 3i. Great. Let's go to this graph, which will help you to solve 21, 22, and 23. Describe the end behavior. So this is very important question that may come across your exams. Whenever he's asking you to describe the end behavior, that means you should look where the x will go and where f of x will be going. So let's start by the first part, which is when x goes to infinity, what will be happening to your f of x? It went up, and by this I means your f of x will be heading to positive infinity. Now let's go to the other side. When x goes to minus infinity, what will be happening to your end behavior? It will be going up also. So your f of x will be going to plus infinity. Great. Determine whether f of x express odd degree or even degree and justify. Now, how can I know whether I'm having odd or even? It's always depending on your end behavior, which you found it up. at the end behavior of f of x. We notice that both arrows will be going on the same direction. So you are having same direction of the end behavior. That means it will be determining for you whether it is odd or even. Whenever you are having your end behavior on the same direction, it will be even degree function. But if it is going with end behavior opposite direction, that means it will be having odd degree function. Now, let's state the number of real zeros. Whenever he's asking you about the real zeros, just look at the x-intercepts. He would like to know how many number of real zeros. So here, look at x-axis. Count how many times you are having x-intercepts. Great. Let's count together. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm having 4 real zeros because I'm having 4 x-intercepts. Great. Now let's come to this question, which already came for you in one of the guided practice, but this time he gave it to you in a different way a little bit. So you are having the area of this rectangle, and he gave you the value of it, and he gave you this drawing. In this drawing, he would like you to write an equation to connect between the x and the L. So he gave you the area, and we know that the area of the rectangle, it is all about L multiplied by W. But you have to focus on one thing. You don't know what is the value from here until here. So I can call this segment to be AB. I'm having a right angle triangle, so I can use whether sine, cosine, or tan. So here, look at what is given to you. He gave you an angle and he just gave you this side. So you can use your tan. Tan 60 is equal to AB over 12. So the value of AB must be 12 square root of 3 centimeter. Now he would like you to connect between X and L. So we know that the area is all about L multiplied by W. He gave you the area, 750. He would like you to keep the L, but he doesn't want you to write the equation with respect to W. Now, what is your new W? Your W, it's all about your X added to AB. That means you can remove your W and write your value as X plus your value of AB that you just found it, which is 12 square root of 3. Great. So now you can put your L alone by dividing 750 over x plus 12 square root of 3. And one of the most important things is that you can multiply by the conjugate, up and down. X minus 12 square root of 3, x minus 12 square root of 3. And this will be having 750 x minus 12 square root of 3. And by this, you can use your FOIL method, or you can just use the property of a squared minus b squared. And I will be using this property. It will be x squared minus 432. You can use FOIL method, or you can use the property of, I will write it here for you, a minus b. A plus b will be giving you a squared minus b squared. So you can square the first minus square the second. And in this way, it will be getting you an answer with a denominator without having radical down. Now, he's asking you, find the value of x if the perimeter of the rectangle is 110. So now he gave you the perimeter. He gave you another thing. So using this parameter, you can find one of the equations to use it later for substitution. So your P is 2 multiplied by L plus W. And you know that your W is different now and it is changing. So we can substitute to find the relation between L and W, which we will be using it later. So you will be substituting 110 equal to L plus W. Keep the expression as it is. Divide by 2 both sides. L plus W is equal to 55. And this is considered to be one of your equations, which will help you to find W in terms of L. So it will be 55 minus L. Just put this in your mind. Now, let's go to the area. We had the area previously, and it was all about L multiplied by W. So now I'm having L as an equation with W. So let's substitute the numbers. So what is your area? 750 equal L multiplied by 55 minus L. So now you would like to have an equation with only one variable, which will be helping you to find one of the variables and use it later. So we can move it to have ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Distributive property here. After the distributive property and after moving 750, you will be having L squared minus 55L plus 750 equal to 0. Now, You can use whether your calculator or you can use the factorization. So you will be having two values of L. L1 will be 30 centimeter. L2 will be 25 centimeter. And with substitution, here, if you substitute it here, it will be 25 centimeter. Here, it will be 30 centimeter. Now, look at the limitation in the question. He told you L must be bigger than W. That means you must reject these two because it is not satisfying the question. Rejected. And these ones, I can accept them. Now, lastly, I found L and W. I should substitute to find X. So I can use the function above, which is whether this one or this one, to find X. So let me find X with you. So L here, let me use this one, X plus 12 square root of 3 will be equal to 750. And now we know that our L is all about 30. So we can put it from the beginning. Divide both sides. You will be having X plus 12 square root of 3 equal to 25. Subtract both sides. You will be having your X as 25 minus 12 square root of 3, which is approximately 4.22. And lastly, the last question in the exam will be helping you to revise how can you solve the inequality when you are having a square root. So let's solve it together. So whenever you are having a square root here, and plus 1, just remove it and move it to the other side. So it will be 2x plus 4 less than or equal 4. Then to get rid of the square root, take the square of both sides. And your answer here will be including absolute value of 2x plus 4 less than or equal 16. Great. So now, whenever you are solving this absolute value in the inequality, you will be having two cases. Whether the first case, which is whatever inside the absolute value positive, or the second case, when you are having it is negative. So, if you solve the first case, you will be having x with less than or equal 6. Then here divide by minus, you will be having 2x plus 4, and the sign will be changed. It will be minus 16, and your x will be directly as x bigger than or equal minus 10. Now, before we go and we plot the number line, one of the most important thing is that whenever you are having a square root, you do not write the solution directly. You have to check the domain, because your values should be started from the domain. If it not, that means when you graph, you will be graphing your values as the following. So it will be something like this. Here is the 0, here is the 6, here is minus 10. I would like the numbers bigger than it, so it will be here until there, and you will be coloring from minus 10 until 6. But what about the domain? So let's check the domain first. The domain is that you should take whatever inside the square root bigger than or equal 0. So if you solve this, it will be having minus 4 minus 4. So 2x bigger than or equal minus 4. Divide by 2 both sides. So your x will be bigger than or equal minus 2. That means your domain here will not start from minus 10. It will be starting from minus 2. That means this solution is rejected and you need to start from this domain. So you must delete this graph and you should graph it again with the new domain. So it will be 0, minus 2, and 6. Closed circle here, closed circle here, and you would like to have the values less than 6, and at the same time you would like to have the values more than minus 2. So that means you will be coloring everything inside them. So your solution set will be between minus 2 and 6. So your x will be minus 2 less than or equal x less than or equal 6. This is the end of the video and the end of the exam at the same time. Wait for the other videos. I will be sharing with you more exams and more explanations. Thank you so much. If you have any question, you can write for me in the comments.